website. Does anybody have any other questions or concerns or anything you want to bring up? No, the Paris guys were here for our earlier meeting.
I think you need to go over the pitching distances and the base distances.
While you're looking that up, let me talk real quick also about the team. Because we're a 501(c) qualified organization, and we'll get our final letter from the government. We've already received our preliminary letter. It gives the teams within our organization the ability to go secure donations as sponsorship and donate to Lone Star Select. Let me explain to you how this process works so that you understand it. Anyone that wishes to donate to our league can donate to Lone Star Select. Legally, we have to have full authority to utilize that money whichever way possible. There can't be any stipulations on it. Does everybody understand what I mean by stipulations? They can't come and say, I'll give you $1,000, but I want you to give it to this team. They cannot say that. It's against the law to do that. We have to have the ability to do that. As a board, we have made the decision that if anyone gets a sponsorship deal like that, we will in turn around and give the money to the team for all eligible expenses that the team has spent towards their baseball team. So as an example, you get someone to donate $100 to your team, they will be able to get a full tax write-off for the $100 they've given for all eligible donations. And we in turn will turn around, and all you have to do is submit back to us receipts showing that the $100 was spent towards your baseball team, and we'll give you the money for it. Does everybody understand that? So it gives you the chance as a team to be able to secure sponsorship and give your donors a tax benefit, which makes it a lot easier to get donors, and at the same time be able to support your team the way you need it to. And that's a benefit of being part of a 501(c), but it's a process that you have to go through. It's fully legal. This isn't an illegal thing. I'm just explaining to you that all 501(c) charities have to have full authority to utilize any money that's donated without any stipulations. And then once that's done, then the organization has the ability to choose that. And what we've decided to do is basically allow our teams to go out and solicit sponsorship to be able to help offset your costs, but then they can submit, they can actually make the donation to us, and then we in turn will turn it back over to you for all eligible donations. Everybody understand that? Okay.
So that's not saying that a local vendor couldn't sponsor your team, but if they go directly to you, you're not going to get that tax exempt benefit rather than coming through the league. Is that correct, Sam?
That's correct.
Okay.
So if they could come to you, they could make a donation to Lone Star Select. You could come back to us and give us the receipt for what you're spending that money for, and we in turn will give the money to you to benefit our league. As long as it's an eligible donation that's supporting what we're trying to do as Lone Star Select, we can do that. So it's a good benefit for you.
Okay. Some of the bases and pitching distance we're going to go over real quick. The 8U machine pitch from center axle of the machine will be 46 feet and 60 feet bases for any of you 8U coaches. For 9U and 10U closed, pitching distance will be 46 feet and 65 foot bases. 10U open is 46 feet, 70 foot bases. 11U is 48 foot and 70 foot base. 12U is 50 and a half with 70 foot bases. 13U through high school, 60 feet, 90 feet bases, or 60 and a half, I'm sorry, and 90 feet bases. Now those are a little bit different than probably what you've heard before. Now, I'll say this, I played 10U Open last season. When I first heard of the 70-foot bases, Sam and I discussed it a little bit, and I had some reservations on it. But after playing it, it was well worth it. It made probably my weaker kids play up. It made them run faster, it made them throw harder. I saw more tying runs at first than I've ever seen in baseball. It was really well worth it. So if you have reservations about it, please bring it to us, let us know. We'd like to hear about it. The other thing I'll cover, and some people don't like this, some people do, we will have a pitch count rule. 75 pitches for 12 and under with a maximum of 85. Now what that means is You can go beyond 75. If you break 85, you're ejected. Okay? And the umpire will remove the pitcher from the mound. He won't remove him from the game, but he will pull him from the mound. He can go into another position to play, but he is off the mound and he cannot return. I'll read this whole paragraph to you. Coaches are required to keep track of pitch counts of both their own and opponent's pitch count. Basically, I say your scorekeepers to do it. It is inherent on both teams to work with each other and check pitch counts during the game. Scorekeepers from the pitching team are to inform the umpire behind the plate and the opposing team scorekeeper when a pitcher reaches 60 pitches. The batting team is required to bring notice to the umpire if they have a discrepancy in that pitch count. The umpire's determination will be final. Any manager or coach that violates this rule will be subject to ejection from the game by the umpire and suspension from future games by the Lone Star Select Board of Directors. These rules are designed to protect our athletes from overuse. Violations of this rule are to be reported to Lone Star Select VP of Officiating, which would be Mr. Wes Hall, by the plate umpire upon conclusion of the day. So it's not your job to report it, it's the umpire's job. That's why we're scheduling your umpires, is keep them in contact with him and to help you. Now, to kind of explain that, and I'm still in the 12U and under, kind of explain that 75 pitches with a maximum of 85. At 75, you're going to get a warning from the umpire. He's at 75. He can finish the at-bat. But if he hits 85, he's got to come off. It's your responsibility to pull him off that mound. It's not that we want to govern how you coach. We want to protect the kids. All right? 13 and up, 95 pitches with a maximum of 105. There'll be the warning at 60 on that one as well. Okay? We encourage you to have the scorekeepers of each team talk to each other between innings. Make sure you keep that pitch count accurate. The home team book will be the official. And I'll use this for an example. Mr. Anderson over here, if he and I are playing, I'm the home team. His pitch count says I have a pitcher at 75. If mine says 70, mine's the official. He may have a discrepancy. He can go to the umpire and say, hey, I disagree with this. I've got 75. He's got 70. The umpire's going to say, who's the home team? Who's the official? 70 is what we're going with. So there's really not a way to really get absolutely accurate with this except using ESPN iScore, where it keeps up with everything. You can link to each other and it keeps up with everything. We do have ESPN iScore so that you can upload to the website and it will keep your stats. But there's no way we're going to be dead accurate on this because you're going to have foul tips that are missed. Somebody's not going to count that. Now, warm-up pitches do not count toward the pitch count at all. They do not count at all. Warm-up pitches on the sideline, we don't count that. It's with a batter in the box. Batter in the box, pitch thrown is counted. Okay? Any questions on that? Any heartburn?
And those of you that haven't used iScore, it walks you through it. It's the best thing in the world. If you've got a parent that likes to follow the game, they've got an iPad or an iPhone or a smartphone, use it because it does it for you. It tells you what to push and so forth, and it keeps the most accurate count that you'll have.
Any particular reason why 13 and 14 are on the 90-foot down as opposed to?
That was something that we discussed, and we discussed it with some of the other coaches, and most of them have been blaming the 90-foot diamond.
Well, if you play in any kind of super series or U-trip tournament, you're playing on 80-foot diamond. And every league I've ever heard, 13, 14-year-olds playing on 80-foot diamond. You don't go 90.
Well, it was a subject of discussion, and if we want to get everybody together and you guys want to play the 80-foot bases, we're more than happy to do that. We actually talked about this one back and forth in the meeting, so.
You're going to have a lot of towns.
It's 54-foot pitching too, right?
It's 54.80. 54.80. See, the problem you're going to have on a lot of them is the only fields you're going to have in most of these towns that have a 90-foot, 60 feet 6 inches. High school field, and you're not going to get on those fields. I mean, most of the local leagues are gonna be 80 foot, 54. Just a thought.
Oh,
Because the thing about it is, I mean, if our team from Silver Springs wants to play there, we ain't playing it because we don't have a 90-foot diamond anywhere
Exactly.
in Silver Springs.
well, let's get those two groups together when we get through the meeting, just make sure, but we're fine with 54 and 80 if that's what everybody wants to play. We actually discussed it just a few minutes ago, so.
Anybody else got any questions on the pitch count or the base length?
The pitch count counts for the day, the weekend, the week,
The weekend.
the weekend.
So if he's in 2 games on Saturday, he gets a total pitch count of 75, maximum 80, 12 and under.
Now, in our preseason and postseason tournaments, we will go to an out basis and where we will allow 21 outs for 12 and under, and then 24 for 13 and up. So you'll get 24 outs. Instead of going by pitch count, you'll do it by outs during those tournaments. Because it's just easier for everybody to keep track of it that way, and that's what we've done. And we've gone back and forth in a zillion different ways trying to figure out easier, but that seems to work the best. But during the weekends, during the regular season, that's the pitch count that you follow.
Now, some of you may be asking, well, why in the preseason would you go 21, 24? It's kind of hard to put you guys under the constraint of 75 pitch counts in a weekend where you may play 6 or 7 games. We're depending on you to watch your pitchers. We think that that you're the coach. You know what they can handle, or at least you should. I know what mine can handle, and I know what they can't handle. So we're depending on you to watch them. But during the season, we have to put it in. Last season, I had phone calls from scorekeepers, saw a 9U, 120. That's too much. 120 pitches. That's way too much. So we have to put something in. 95% of the coaches won't do that to a kid. It's the 5% that will.
And these numbers are not arbitrary. We didn't just pull them out of the sky. We met with Dr. James Andrews. Those of you that are big sports fans will probably know who he is. He's the world's leading authority on sports injuries in Birmingham, Alabama. We met with him, and these are his recommended numbers. He told me personally that he saw more injuries related to overuse issues than he ever saw with any breaking ball or anything of that nature. And so we're really trying to utilize their recommendations to try to make sure that we don't overuse our kids. It's going to behoove the coach, though, if you've got kids that are playing in league ball during the week and then playing select ball on the weekends, we really encourage you to keep in touch with whoever is coaching that kid during the regular season to make sure that they're not pitching twice during the regular week and then they're coming out for you and they're pitching for you and all of a sudden they're throwing 4 games a week. You're going to ruin a kid that way. And so it's up to you. We can't govern that. We don't know who's playing or whatever. We're leaving it to you as coaches. But on those days that you're playing in our league, we put these pitch counts in place specifically to try to make sure that we don't have any overuse issues as best we can. And we put teeth into it to make sure that it's happened. It's not a suggestion, it's a requirement. And it's not because we're trying to play Big Brother, we're just trying to protect these kids.
What's the umpire cost? Are you still paying the umpire right before the games, or how y'all, the same way you
Yes,
did?
it will be right before the game. You have the breakout on the base schedule.
You want to go through that?
Yeah,
We're actually going to go through.
I'll go through that in a minute.
We'll go through that in just a minute. Time limits on the game, and I'm just going to briefly touch on some of this. Time limits on the game, 10U and below, hour and a half, 11U, 11 and 12U, hour 45, 13 and 14 is 2 hours 7, high school 2 hours 7. Run rules, 12 after 3, 10 after 4, 8 after 5. Anyone ejected from a game is required to leave the field and premises immediately. Failure to do so may result in additional suspension from the league. And the umpire will be the one to report it to West Hall over here. Game balls, all game balls must be played with league specified balls. If you notice, I think they're still running around here somewhere. There's 2 Pro 9 balls. The Pro 9 softball and the Pro 9 baseball that we've got back there. The ball that we're using is a much higher level ball than what we've been playing with before. I believe it's a 3-tier level up, I believe, on the baseball. The softball is kind of standard. I think what you guys have been playing with is